So at the end of the day, I'm a coach, I'm a competitor, and I love being where the action is. So I'm not planning on going anywhere anytime soon, but when I go, I still hopefully will have an impact on the sport that will help other people. Yeah, I mean, 2025 was a vibe. I mean, just with anything, any sport, any business, any experience, you're going to have your ups and your downs, your highs and your lows. We had more highs and lows. Our team has built a reputation and a resilience that no matter what happens, we're going to be in the middle of the fight. We're going to be there when it counts, and we're going to be have a say in the outcome. So with Quincy, he had some highs and lows, and I, again, will be the first to say way more highs than lows. Broke his own high school record, indoors and outdoors. Ran 44:10, which I think stood for top 5 in the world, even after World Championships. As a high school junior, that's still crazy to say 44:10 as a high school junior. We continue to grow and build with him and with our program. I've been the track coach at Bullis for 13 years, and we have seen a lot of successful stories. Him, of course, Quincy, Masai Russell, Leah Phillips, Ashley Wallace, all the Allen brothers, Eric, Alston, Ashley. So we've had a lot of guys and ladies who've come in and have done some amazing things, and we have more on the way. Cameron Homer, who's here now, he's ran 45.8 as a sophomore last year. Our relays broke several national records. Sydney Sutton, she's a legend at our school. She ran 51.2 and as a high schooler, qualified for U.S. trials. She also ran 56 in the 400 hurdles. I can go on and on. The guy that speaks hurdlers, Cassidy Hopkins, national runner-up. So anyway, the list goes. I'm forgetting a lot of people, or I haven't mentioned them, I should say. But our program is really, at this point, we're trying to keep the standard, and the standard of excellence. We don't bring that down for anyone. Yeah, we believe that in the DMV, that there's just as much talent in the DMV as your Texas, your California, your Floridas, your Georgias, and we believe we've shown that. Again, when you can break national records that have stood for, like the 4x4 national record stood for 40 years. We broke that this past spring, and that was set by a California team, Hawthorne High School, 307.40, and we ran 306, I think 31 or something like that. So we believe the talent is there, but the secret sauce for us is staying together, keeping the main thing, and the main thing is not track and field. The main thing is growing and developing as people. And holding each other to a higher standard even of that. Treating people how you want to be treated. I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's really what matters most. We want to be known as athletes and known as teams and coaches and all that kind of stuff, but that's not only who you are. You're a person, you're a human being first. So when you treat people the way you want to be treated, when you treat people the right way, then it sets up an environment and a culture that people want to be a part of. And at this point, in our experience, one of the things that Quincy has been saying a lot as a leader, one of the leaders and captains on our team, is that we're now chasing legacy. Legacy matters, and when we say chasing it, meaning we've established and we want to continue to rise to the occasion. But what keeps us together is each other. So I don't know if it's a secret sauce or not, but we really believe in coming together, believing in each other, giving everything every single time we're either on the track or off the track. And, it's worked for these past, decade plus, and I don't think we should change anything anytime soon. I think what keeps me at Bullis at this stage is I'm wired the way that I always wonder, okay, how can we improve even on that? So we did one thing, how can we improve on it? And we did another thing, how can we improve on it? So always testing limits and barriers, breaking ceilings, if you will, that people say are impossible. I love defying the odds. As far as, coaching pros and things like that, I've coached pros in the past. I still, consult with a few and coach on occasion as needed. Sometimes pro coaches will call me and say, hey, coach, my athletes in town, will you work with them? Or if I'm at a meet, like the Olympics, was, able to work with a few. We've had a few here, we have a couple pros who come into our program, and that's what makes Bullis work for me, because the faculty and the administration, the leadership there trust what I'm doing, not just for the Bullis community, but what we're doing overall for the sport. So, I coach everything from the little ones all the way up to the professionals, and we got professionals or pros on our team right now. Quincy's a pro, he just happens to be in high school, you know what I'm saying? So I have no desire at this stage to move to that. People have talked about like the NCAAs and coaching at that level. And people say the next level. I don't look at it that way. I just see it as a different level, because every level or every space where you are has its challenges and its unique difficulties of its own. And what I'm saying, I want to learn how to master the difficulties and challenges working with high school boys and girls. And then those principles, they can go up or go down. They can go to preteens and children. They can go to pros. But I think working with high school teenagers, to me, is one of the hardest things you can do, because teenagers are not exactly wired to be compliant at all times. Try getting a teenager to clean their room or to take out the trash, let alone running a repeat, 300s. So long story short, I love the challenge of the high school environment, but also love the reward, because it's nothing like getting a young person to believe in a vision that's going to better them, and then to see them get it done. It's nothing like it. So I love what I do. I've never missed a meet for him, and so we've been there from day one in terms of as far as the high school setting is concerned. And people do see us, kind of connected. Not kind of, we are connected, but I'm as it should be, because I'm his coach. As far as that kind of parental figure, that mentor, that's all a part of what coaching should be for everyone. Whether big brother, big sister, uncle, father figure, whatever you want to call it. That's the piece about coaching. I was talking to an athlete, a pro athlete, on the way up here, and he was saying how he moved to a new camp, not because the old camp was bad, but the relationship that he had with the coach that he's with now means the world. And I just believe that you gotta buy into the individual before you ask them to buy into what you're asking them to do. And then buying into the individual takes time. It takes, noticing the things about them that have nothing to do with track and actually caring. This, as far as, what that means for Quincy, what that means for, people like Sydney Sutton or Masai Russell or, Maya Arundel, who's our newest one now. For me, it means being true to yourself. And it doesn't mean I'm perfect, because I'm far from it. And I'll be the first one to tell them, hey, coach messed up there, I'm sorry. But that's part of the learning process too. And it's teaching them principles and values that they'll take into their families, and if they coach, and into their jobs, and into their communities. And, I just believe that coaches are supposed to be people that, take a vehicle of sport and take you on a journey that helps you experience life. We've established a reputation in the sport that started really in 2017 when we won our first national title, and that's what attracted Quincy to Bullis, was the success of our program, and not just the success, but the way we interact and care for our team. And we keep doing what we're doing. In high school, I went to a pretty competitive high school athletically, St. Benedict's Prep in Newark, New Jersey. Shout out Grave East. And, we had a saying, we don't rebuild, we reload. I don't know if I would even say that's our mentality here, but it's just, again, keeping the standard the standard. And if we keep the standard, it's going to attract others. So, we don't go after and say, hey, we want you to come to Bullis, come to Bullis, come to Bullis. There are people at this point who say, Coach, I want a chance to maximize or fulfill my talent. And I believe Bullis gives me the best chance to do that. So, we got a new crop. I mean, our whole team, half of our team this year is new, if we count down, down the roster, because we lost a lot of quality kids from last year's team on the boys and the girls side. But, again, if we keep doing it the same way we're doing it and just improve, getting better and better every day, well, when you add the days that turn to weeks, the weeks turn to months, the months turn to years, we should be better than we were, and it should attract more people and then make them better than the ones that were here before. So I'm looking forward to who's the next big story, the next great story. I had a young man who told me, I want to come to Bullis and I want to break all of Quincy Wilson's records. And I said, that's a pretty bold statement to make. But he didn't say it in arrogance. He said it in humility and confidence because he believes in his ability and he believes in our environment to help him get to his goals and dreams. So I told him, all right, we'll see. And then when Quincy met him, Quincy was like, hey man, I want you to go after everything that I set up there. So it's a legacy. It's the Bullis track and field family that has made this a place that feels special to us. Maybe doesn't feel special to people who are not here. But there's no secret sauce to it. We train anybody who's here. And if you're here and you give your best and you give your everything, you're gonna get something out of it that resonates on the track, but goes far beyond that and makes an impact in life. I love what I do. There's a lot of rumors and things on the internet in terms of what I'm gonna do or what I am doing and what job I'm taking and what job I'm not. And the funny part about it is no one ever asked me. So in terms of how much longer I have in the sport, I'm not going to be the coach that's there when he's 75, 80 years old, still at the track, holding a stopwatch on a clipboard. That's not going to be me. I want to have an impact on the sport that goes beyond just coaching. I like coaching coaches, so that's something I'm looking into now in terms of just how I can take what I've learned and share it with others on how to develop a program and how to take something from its very infancy stages to something that's fully grown and matured into what many people would believe is successful. I've been around a while, and I'm privileged to have learned a lot. I'm still learning a lot at the same time because there's still a lot I don't know. Other things I want to do in the sport, I'm very pro-athlete, meaning I want the athlete to understand their value and to receive their value out of the sport beyond compensation, which I believe also needs to be addressed. I don't think the athletes have a full understanding of their worth in the sport and also as an individual and their own brand. So helping them understand that and market themselves and to really create more of a business mindset for young people in their early 20s and even sometimes teenagers. So I like that part of it. But I'm also, at the end of the day, I'm a coach, I'm a competitor, and I love being where the action is. So I'm not planning on going anywhere anytime soon, but when I go, I still hopefully will have an impact on the sport that will help other people.